Welcome to another episode of the Part 145 EASA training from Phoenix Way Academy. Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, and I'm Sam.
Last time on the deep dive, we really unpacked the acceptable means of compliance, or AMC, and the guidance material, or GM, which are essentially EASA's detailed instructions and recommendations related to Section 145.A.30, covering personnel requirements. Today, we're back for the final crucial part of 145.A.30, delving into some very specific and often surprising nuances of staff qualifications and authorizations.
That's right. Our mission today is to truly understand how EASA manages the human element in aircraft maintenance. We're going to clarify the detailed requirements for both certifying and support staff, explore a fascinating concept of limited certification authorizations specifically tailored for pilots.
Which sounds really interesting.
It is. And then, perhaps most intriguing, dissect the critical framework for what are called one-off authorizations in truly unforeseen circumstances.
Right. The big question we're trying to answer today is, how does EASA build a system of unwavering trust in aviation maintenance, balancing strict rules with the unpredictable realities of operations?
Exactly.
You'll see how precision in personnel management ensures airworthiness even when things don't go exactly as planned. Let's dive in. So let's kick things off by looking at the very foundation of who does what in maintenance, specifically under the guidance of AMC 145.A.30H personnel requirements.
Okay.
What does this clause tell us about the core qualifications?
Well, what's truly insightful here is the baseline standard. Many might assume different roles mean entirely different training paths, but the regulations establish a unified foundation of expertise.
Okay.
Let's look at the exact wording from the source itself. In accordance with points 145.A.30H and 145.A.35, the qualification requirements, basic license, aircraft ratings, recent experience, and recurrent training, are identical for certifying staff and for support staff.
Identical, okay.
The only difference is that support staff cannot hold certification privileges when performing this role, since during base maintenance, the release to service will be issued by Category C certifying staff.
That's the key difference then.
Exactly. And it adds, nevertheless, the organization may use as support staff for base maintenance persons who already hold certification privileges for line maintenance.
Right.
So the core concept is clear. Your basic license, aircraft ratings, recent experience, recurrent training, all those foundational qualifications. They're identical for both certifying staff and support staff.
Yeah.
This means everyone involved operates from a high, consistent level of knowledge. But where it diverges is in their roles and, critically, their privileges, especially in base maintenance.
Okay.
Support staff are absolutely vital, providing essential assistance, but they do not issue the final release to service.
That big sign-off.
Yes. That crucial sign-off, which declares an aircraft airworthy to return to flight, is reserved exclusively for what we call Category C certifying staff during base maintenance. These are typically the most senior, highly qualified engineers responsible for the final release of the aircraft.
That creates a very clear chain of responsibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You can imagine a major overhaul underway in a vast hangar. You have a highly skilled technician, a support staff member, expertly disassembling and inspecting, say, a critical engine component. They are incredibly knowledgeable, crucial to the process, but they are working under and reporting to the Category C certifying staff member. It's that Category C individual who ultimately reviews all the work, ensures everything is meticulously completed, and then, with their certification privileges, signs off on the aircraft's return to service.
And to highlight the system's flexibility, it's explicitly stated that an organization can utilize someone who holds line maintenance certification privileges as support staff during base maintenance.
Oh, okay, so that leverages existing expertise.
Precisely.
So you could have a line maintenance engineer, someone who typically certifies minor repairs right there at the airport gate, being brought into a base maintenance setting to assist as support staff.
Yes, exactly.
They apply their deep knowledge without needing a separate base maintenance release privilege. It's a smart way to utilize skilled personnel where they're most needed.
That distinction is paramount because it establishes unambiguous lines of accountability. There's never any question about who holds the ultimate responsibility for an aircraft being declared fit for service.
Right.
This directly upholds the highest airworthiness standards while still allowing for the efficient deployment of a highly trained workforce. Now we move to a truly fascinating and perhaps counterintuitive area. AMC 145.A.DJ 145.A.30 personnel requirements.
Okay.
This covers the concept of limited certification for pilots. Now, some might wonder why pilots would be involved in maintenance at all.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a real game changer for specific operational scenarios. How does EASA even allow for this, and what are the boundaries?
It absolutely provides a critical layer of operational flexibility. Let's get the exact details directly from the source to understand the prerequisites and limitations. First, 1. For the issue of a limited certification authorization, the pilot should hold either an airline transport pilot's license, ATPL, or a commercial pilot license, CPL, in accordance with Regulation EU No. 1178/2011 and, as applicable, Regulation EU 2020/723.
Okay, so ATPL or CPL are the starting points.
Correct. Then point 2. 2. In addition, the limited certification authorization is subject to the MOE containing procedures. The procedures should be accepted by the competent authority and should include as a minimum: A, completion of adequate continuing airworthiness regulation training as related to maintenance.
Yeah.
B, completion of adequate task training for the specific tasks on the aircraft. C, completion of the procedural training as specified in Part 145.
Wow, so it's not just a casual add-on. The Maintenance Organization Exposition, the MOE, that detailed manual plays a pivotal role.
It's central.
It must contain detailed procedures, and these need official acceptance from the competent authority.
Precisely. And these procedures are surprisingly robust. They must include 3 specific training components. First, continuing airworthiness regulation training related to maintenance. Second, specific task training for the actual tasks on the aircraft.
So they know exactly what they're doing.
Exactly. Sufficient to ensure thorough understanding, including how to use the maintenance data. And third, full procedural training, as specified in Part 145. It's quite a bit of training, even for seemingly minor tasks.
But that's the safety philosophy, right?
It is. Then it lists typical tasks under 2.I, replacement of internal lights, filaments, and flash tubes. B, closing of cowlings and refitment of quick access inspection panels. C, role changes, for example, stretcher installation, dual controls, FLIR, doors, photographic equipment, etc.
Things like that, okay?
D, inspection for and removal of de-icing anti-icing fluid residues. E, any check replacement that involves simple techniques agreed by the competent authority.
So simple, specific, pre-approved tasks.
Yes. And finally, 3. The validity of the authorization should be limited to 12 months and may be renewed if there has been satisfactory recurrent training on the tasks for which the pilot holds an authorization.
12 months only, with recurrent training needed. Got it.
So the core idea is that a pilot, under these very precise conditions, can get this limited certification authorization. It's not full maintenance privileges, strictly for that specific set of minor tasks. And they need that ATPL or CPL baseline, according to Regulation EU number 1178/2011 and maybe Regulation EU 2020/723.
That really paints a clear picture of the utility. You know, imagine a flight crew arriving at a remote airport late at night, no maintenance personnel available. If a small cabin reading light goes out or a quick access panel needs resecuring after a visual check, a pilot with this specific certified authorization can address it safely and quickly.
Exactly. It avoids potentially costly delays or diversions.
Right, keeps the aircraft operational for minor issues. It's about ensuring that critical operational flexibility and minimizing downtime while maintaining those uncompromised safety standards through rigorous training and procedural oversight. Now, let's explore a concept that often raises eyebrows. AMC 145.A.30J5 personnel requirements dealing with one-off authorizations.
Right.
When you hear one-off, some might think loophole or maybe a quick fix, but this is actually the opposite, isn't it? It's about how the most unpredictable situations are met with the most rigorous oversight.
You've hit on a critical point. This clause defines unforeseen with extreme precision. Let's read that first bit. 1. For the purposes of point 145.A.30J5, unforeseen means that the grounding of the aircraft could not reasonably have been predicted by the operator because the defect was unexpected, due to it being part of a hitherto reliable system.
Okay, so truly unexpected, not just poor planning.
Absolutely not poor planning or covering for staff shortages. It's about a genuinely surprising defect in a system that's usually reliable, causing an aircraft grounding. It's a safety net for truly unpredictable situations, not a way around standard procedures.
Makes sense.
Then it continues. 2. Issuing a one-off authorization should only be considered under the responsibility of the compliance monitoring manager of the contracted organization, after a reasoned judgment has been made that such an authorization is appropriate under the circumstances, while at the same time it maintains the required airworthiness standards.
The compliance monitoring manager, so a senior role with significant oversight.
A vital role. And it adds, the organization's compliance monitoring personnel should assess each situation individually prior to issuing a one-off authorization and may request contribution from technical and safety management personnel.
So it's not a snap decision by one person.
Definitely not. The compliance monitoring manager must make a thoroughly reasoned judgment that it's appropriate while ensuring airworthiness standards are maintained. The personnel assesses each case individually, seeking input from technical and safety teams. It's a comprehensive review.
Okay.
And then there's a crucial limitation. 3. A one-off authorization should not be issued if the level of certification required could exceed the knowledge and experience level of the person it is issued to.
That seems fundamental.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
In all cases, due consideration should be given to the complexity of the work involved and the availability of the required tooling and/or test equipment needed to complete the work.
So if the person isn't capable or doesn't have the right tools, it's a no-go.
Exactly. The bar is incredibly high, making it a true last resort.
Yeah.
If any of those conditions aren't met, skill, experience, complexity assessment, tools, the authorization simply isn't granted.
That really highlights its emergency-only nature. You can imagine an aircraft suddenly grounded at a remote station, maybe due to a very specific, unexpected electrical fault in a system that's historically been rock solid.
A truly unforeseen event.
Right. Not common wear and tear. A one-off authorization might be considered to get that aircraft airworthy quickly, but only if all those stringent conditions we just discussed are met.
It's not for routine maintenance, not a workaround for staff shortages. It's for unpredictable emergencies, reflecting that commitment to agile problem solving without compromising safety.
Building on that, then, what happens when an unforeseen defect grounds an aircraft but the necessary expert isn't type-rated for that specific aircraft? Or maybe isn't even employed by the maintenance organization? How does this rigorous system extend to those even more complex scenarios?
That's where the regulations get even more granular, showing incredible foresight. First, let's look at AMC 145.A.30J5, 1, Personnel Requirements. This addresses a competent certifying staff member working on an aircraft type they don't hold a specific rating for.
Okay.
Here's the recommended procedure. 1. The flight crew should communicate full details of the defect to the maintenance organization. If necessary, the maintenance organization will then request the use of a one-off authorization from the compliance monitoring personnel.
So clear communication first.
It's essential.
Yeah.
Then, 2. When issuing a one-off authorization, the compliance monitoring personnel should verify that A, full technical details relating to the work required to be carried out have been established and passed on to the certifying staff.
Crystal clear work instructions again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The organization has an approved procedure in place for coordinating and controlling the total maintenance activity undertaken at the location under the authority of the one-off authorization.
Controlled process on site. C. The person to whom a one-off authorization is issued has been provided with all the necessary information and guidance relating to maintenance data and any special technical instructions associated with the specific task undertaken. A detailed step-by-step worksheet has been defined by the organization and has been communicated to the holder of the one-off authorization.
A detailed worksheet that seems critical.
Very. And point DD, the person holds authorizations of equivalent levels and scopes on other aircraft types that have similar technology, construction, and systems.
So it's not just any engineer. They need that parallel experience on similar types.
Exactly. That's the crucial part. Proven proficiency on similar complex systems is key. It's not about lowering standards. It's about recognizing equivalent competence under strict controls.
That last point really helps understand the trust built into the system. Imagine a highly experienced engineer specializing in complex hydraulics on Airbus aircraft.
An unexpected hydraulic issue grounds a particular Boeing model they're not type-rated for. If the issue is similar enough, their experience is high. A one-off could be issued.
Potentially, yes.
But what really underpins it, beyond their equivalent experience, is that step-by-step worksheet, ensuring meticulous adherence for a task outside their usual certification scope.
Precisely. And the control doesn't end there. Point 3.
Free.
3. The holder of the one-off authorization should sign off the detailed step-by-step worksheet when completing the work steps. The completed tasks should be verified by visual examination and normal system operation upon return to an appropriately approved Part 145 maintenance facility.
So sign off on the worksheet and then verification back at base, a very tightly controlled loop.
A very tightly controlled, layered process. Now, let's address the even broader scenario. AMC 145.A.30J 5 personnel requirements. This specifically deals with staff who are not directly employed by the maintenance organization.
External specialists, essentially.
Exactly. Extending the one-off concept to them. Here's that part of the source. Point 145.A.30J 5 addresses the requirements for staff who are not employed by the maintenance organization, but who meet the requirements of point 145.A.30J 5. In addition to the items listed in points 1, 2A, B, and C, and 3 of AMC 145.A.30J 5, 1, the compliance monitoring personnel of the organization may issue such a one-off authorization, provided that full details relating to the qualifications of the proposed certifying personnel are verified by the compliance monitoring personnel and made available at the location.
Okay, so all the previous checks apply.
All of them: communication, technical details, procedures, worksheet, verification.
Plus an additional check for non-employed staff.
Yes, a critical safeguard. The compliance monitoring personnel must fully verify the qualifications of this external person. And crucially, these verified details or qualifications must be made available at the location where the maintenance is happening.
So the organization can't just outsource the problem without absolute due diligence. They have to vet the external expert thoroughly and have that proof on site.
Correct. Imagine that rare defect needing a unique specialist, maybe an independent contractor or someone from another company. This clause allows it, but the maintenance organization retains full responsibility for verifying and documenting their qualifications right there. Transparency and accountability at every step.
Right.
These incredibly detailed procedures for one-off authorizations, especially for non-type-rated or non-employed staff, really showcase how EASA masterfully balances operational flexibility with that unwavering commitment to safety.
It shows that even in the most unusual, unexpected circumstances, the highest level of scrutiny and accountability is maintained. Safety is never compromised.
Reflecting on all these specific regulations we've covered today, from the clear roles of certifying and support staff to the limited pilot authorizations in these complex, multi-layered one-off scenarios, it becomes profoundly clear that these aren't just bureaucratic hurdles.
No, not at all. They are incredibly sophisticated tools. Tools that enable the aviation industry to remain agile, remarkably responsive to truly unexpected challenges, all while maintaining an unparalleled safety record. It's about building a system of trust through meticulous verification and clear, adaptable procedures.
Exactly.
It ensures that even under immense operational pressure, safety is never, ever compromised. It's really a testament to how the system is designed to handle almost anything by thinking through the human element first.
Well put. And looking ahead, in our next deep dive, we're going to examine a new section of Part 145, namely 145.A.35, certifying staff and support staff.
Building on what we discussed today.
Right.
So make sure you're following us on social media under the name Phoenix Way Academy to stay up to date with all our latest deep dives.
Thanks for listening. Stay safe and stay informed.